In this class, we would focus on how geographical information has evolved over the time. So, we would first focus on the ancient geographies. Now, under the ancient geographies, we would focus on the works of Chinese scholars, the Greek scholars, the Roman scholars, and then we would move forward with the medieval world, where we would be focusing on Arab knowledge and the age of discovery. This was the period of 15th and 16th century, where a lot of developments had taken place through navigation, through travel, and Wolsteimüller, the contribution of Portuguese sailors, the contribution of Columbus has been important in the age of discoveries. With that, we understand the early modern developments. Now, the early modern geographical development had a basis on astronomy as well as the Darwin's theory of evolution. So, how Darwin's theory had a deep impact on the changing landforms, on the market theories as well as urban development. We would understand that. Then, focusing on the modern scholars, we would focus on the developments of Humboldt and Ritter, followed by the new directions and the changes in the geographical knowledge. So let's first understand the ancient geographers. Under the ancient geographers, as we said, Chinese and Greek Latin geographers are important. Under Chinese, we had a lot of scholars. The first one is Fayan. Fayan visited the Nalanda University, and his contribution in the Nalanda University has been important. He focused on the various studies through travel to India. Similarly, Swan Chang focused on the developments of Indian cosmology and the people of the Southern Asia. Cho Su Kua focused on the trade relations of China through the maritime world. So China was one of the countries that discovered mariner compass, and with the development of compass, you had a lot of sea trade that flourished. And Cho Ju Kua basically focused on the developments through trade. And finally, Chu Su Pen talked about the cartographic developments that took place in China. Similar to the Chinese geographers, we had a lot of geographers from the Greek world and the Latin world. From the Greek, we had four of the important geographers that we have here, and from the Roman contribution, we had Strabo and Ptolemy. So, focusing on Strabo and Ptolemy, Strabo's work of Geographica is written in 17 volumes and is very, very important. He focused on an encyclopedia of known world. Ptolemy talked about geography in 8 volumes and focused on the developments of the dimensions of calculating the dimensions of Earth, the latitude, longitude, and different maps of the different parts of the world. So those were the contribution of the Roman scholars. Coming on to the Greek scholars, Homer. Basically, Homer's work of Iliad and Odyssey has been important. He focused on the description of people and places. So his idea was not only physical geography but human geography as well. Herodotus is known as father of history. He tried to relate history to geography and talked about the changing annual flow of Nile River. Aristotle's work was important because he focused on the spherical shape of the earth, and later on Aristophanes focused on measuring the circumference of the earth. While he was measuring the circumference of the earth, he brought about a very minor error of 90 kilometers, and his results were very, very accurate. So Aristotle and Aristophanes focused on astronomical developments. Herodotus focused on historical constructs. Homer focused on understanding a detailed information about people and places. So that was about the ancient geography. Coming on to medieval geography, the people started pilgrimage to Makkah, and when they were starting pilgrimage to Makkah, they were traveling from various places. In the path of travel, they were establishing observation stations or observatories, and these were at Damascus, these were at Baghdad, these were at Cairo in Egypt, and various other places. So these people, when they were traveling, they were trying to establish their knowledge, and in the meanwhile they were also trying to have a connect between the old world and the new world. So how the things became very, very closely related and well tied was established through the Arab scholars. They started to translate the work of Greeks and Romans in Arabic. Translation of Hebrew into Arabic was done. You had numerous scholars. Some of the important ones are Ibn Battuta. He traveled more than 75,000 miles and collected the first hand information from these places. Similarly, you had Al-Idrisi. He talked about the description of the towns and the places where he moved. Ibn Khaldun focused on the roads, provinces and countries. So his idea was closely knit to physical as well as human geography. And Al-Mustaghiq talked about a scientific compilation of the various works that have been done. Okay, then we had the age of discoveries. As we said, this was during the 15th and the 16th century, where navigation, the art of navigation, the discovery of new lands gained momentum. You had Portuguese sailors who moved till Goa in India, and you had new colonies that were being discovered. Columbus' discovery of the new world was very, very important, and these were some of the ideas which laid the foundation for connecting people across continents and across lands. The next is the early modern geography. Now, the works of early modern geography have been important. Now, under astronomy, we had numerous works of Cassini, Cuvier and Varenius that have been seen. Now, these works were related to understanding the scientific latitudinal and longitudinal dimensions and understanding. And then we had the Kahn's contribution. Now, Kahn's contribution has been important. His contribution has been understood under two ways. One is the historical contribution, the other is the descriptive or the geographical contribution. So he focused not only on historical or narrative aspect, but he also focused on the descriptive geography. Similarly, Varenius had a book which was known as Geographica Generalis. Now, his works of Geographica Generalis focused on the developments of geography as a new subject, and his work has been highly used even by scientists like Isaac Newton for their further researches and studies. Kant used a deductive nomothetic approach in his study, in contrast to a inductive ideographic approach being used by Strabo and Ptolemy. So that was one of the major differences between the works of Kant and Strabo and Ptolemy that we have understood. Then coming on to modern geography, you had Humboldt and Ritter as two major scholars. Humboldt focused on the physical geography, however Ritter focused on human geography. Humboldt's work was highly scientific in nature and focused on an inductive approach. His work was known as Cosmos. However, Eretkun's 21 volume were written by Ritter. So Ritter wrote Eretkund, Humboldt wrote Cosmos. Cosmos was a physical geography of the earth as it was described. Ritter wrote Eretkund, where he focused on topical studies, which was the solid continents, then the elements that exist, which was fire, water, air, and finally the different places and the economies that were there. Cosmos, written by Humboldt, focused on the physical description, a scientific form, a way of investigation, and a organic unit of life that was taken into account. Finally, the new directions were approached, and that was with the Darwin's investigation. Now, Darwin moved in his ship HMS Beagle across various regions, and two of the major regions where he reached was the Galapagos Island and the Great Barrier Reef, and he discovered numerous plant and animal species, a lot of biodiversity, based on which bioregional classification in geography we have understood in the later developments that have been seen. And then his ideas of change in time is closely associated with development of landforms. His idea with struggle of existence has been related to market theories, and his ideas of interrelationship has been related to urban development. So his theory of evolution has been understood by geographers in various numerous ways. And then you had numerous approaches. Those could be physical approach to geography, or a regional and a human approach to geography. But in this approach, we also understand determinism and possibilism. The concept of determinism says that environment determines human behavior. However, the concept of possibilism explains that man tries to understand possibilities around. So those are the two concepts and the two approaches that we have understood. Under the deterministic approach, you have Ritzel and Huntington's contribution that have been important, and under the possibilism you have the works of Blasch and the works of Jean Brun that have been very, very important. So, possibilists believe that there is no necessity but only possibilities. So, man discovers the possibilities in and around themselves. The relation between determinism and possibilism has been laid down by Taylor's theory, and that Taylor's theory focuses on stop and go determinism. Now, these concepts we have also covered in a separate lecture in more detail. Finally, we focus on the present and the future of geography. Now, over the years, we have seen that the students who are moving from school to college have seen that they are not being able to absorb themselves in the university setup, in the applicative world. So, there has been an applicative side of geography that has evolved, and those is the relation with environmental sciences, urban development, with GIS, remote sensing, management of natural resources, agricultural engineering, hydraulic engineering. So, making geographical knowledge much more applicative is required. So, for that, understanding and development of tools and techniques in geography, development of GIS, remote sensing are some of the important tools that have been required. Besides that, the role of IGU, the International Geographical Union, has been paramount in understanding the concepts, and this role of geographical union has led to establishment of close connections between the international members of the geographical union, where there are more than 4,000 plus members that are part of it, and the future of geography lies with GeoAI and the developments under GeoAI. So those were some of the basic understanding and a quick glance of how the geographical knowledge has evolved. I believe a lot of students consider this topic to be a challenging topic, but we have tried to brought this under the best simplification we can. We would be covering many more interesting lectures in geography in the upcoming days. Stay tuned for more updates from our side. Have a wonderful day ahead.